So today's story time is the story of someone pulling a horror movie themed prank on her brother who claims that he was not scared of horror. This dude really said, "I ain't scared," just to get absolutely freaked out by the prank. Sounds interesting, so let's get right into the story. Alright, so this story revolves around a pair of siblings who I'll call Chloe and Carter for this video. Chloe was the one who actually sent me the story. Now, Chloe and Carter were big fans of horror movies, which I'm also a pretty big fan of. Horror movies don't really scare me that much, as in like giving me nightmares and stuff like that. That just doesn't really happen with me. But I really do enjoy the thrill of actually watching horror movies, you know? I like the tension, the jump scares, the kills, rooting for likable characters to survive, and of course, a villain who's a big threat and actually scary. So one difference that Chloe and Carter had was that they liked different types of horror movies. Carter was more into American horror movies, and Chloe was more into Japanese horror movies. Now, for me personally, I'd side with Carter here. I prefer American horror movies. I absolutely love movies like Nightmare on Elm Street, It, Halloween, and especially Scream. Now, look, I got nothing against Japanese movies or anything like that. If you like the kind of stuff, you do you. You can watch whatever kind of movies or shows you want. I won't judge. But for me personally, I'm not really interested in watching any of that kind of stuff, Like, it's just not my thing. Anyway, so every time Chloe and Carter would watch a Japanese horror movie or play a Japanese horror game, Carter would make fun of Chloe and complain about things, such as it not being scary or the movie or game being quote-unquote too slow, which honestly, even though, I don't like that kind of stuff, the, the complaint's kind of stupid. Like, the original Halloween from 1978 is one of the best horror movies ever made, and that movie is quote unquote slow, but what it does is it takes its time to really build up tension, build up suspense, so when the scares eventually happen, they're scarier. So Carter also sometimes pranks Chloe to prove his point about American horror being scarier. For example, one time, he stood outside her door with a full Ghostface costume on just to scare her. Now, this Carter dude has my respects, I'm a huge Scream fan. I saw Scream 5 and Scream 6 in theaters, both of which I loved. The original Scream is my favorite horror movie ever made, and I have varying opinions on the other three movies. I recently purchased a full movie-accurate Ghostface costume just for Halloween later this year. I think I said before on the channel that I take Halloween very seriously, so I always get my costume like 6 months in advance or something. Anyway, so recently Carter got a new girlfriend, which hey, good for you, man. Carter's definitely got that W Riz, definitely more Riz than I got. Now, Carter's girlfriend, we're gonna name her Lauren for the story. And Lauren just also happens to be another fan of horror, so I'd say she'd probably get along with Carter and Chloe. People with common interests tend to get along pretty well. Hypothetically, if I ever get a girlfriend and she liked Star Wars, we'd definitely be getting along pretty well. Or maybe not, because, Star Wars fans. Okay, so one day Carter and Lauren decided to have a movie night in Carter and Chloe's basement, and they decided to put on The Ring. No, it's not the 2002 English version you and I probably know, but instead, according to the subscriber, the 1998 Japanese version, which I've never heard of before this. I've never seen it, and I don't really plan on seeing it. Now, for those of you who don't know what The Ring is, according to the subscriber, both the Japanese and American versions have the exact same premise, where, the horror movie where there's the scary girl with long hair in the TV, and if you see the videotape, you'll get a phone call saying you'll die in 7 days, and then the scary girl crawls out of the TV and kills you? You know that one? Yeah, that's The Ring. Anyway, so Chloe decided she wanted to get Carter back for scaring her with the Ghostface costume, which would say, yeah, that's pretty fair. If somebody pranks you and scares you pretty good, you're gonna want to get them back. That's just how it is. If someone pranks you, you prank them back. It's basically just an unspoken law. So I fully understand Chloe here. Okay, so Chloe sneaks downstairs to the basement without them noticing. She's making her way down there, being all stealthy, trying not to be noticed. She hides in the basement waiting for them to get to the part of the movie where the videotape plays, because that's the part when she plans to prank them. Her idea was to call her brother right at that part of the movie and scare him, which I'd say is a pretty good idea for a prank, Make your brother think he's gonna die in 7 days. Interesting prank. I just hope my little sister doesn't get any ideas. Anyways, so Carter and Lauren are getting super close to the part of the movie that Chloe's waiting for, when all of a sudden, Lauren has to go upstairs to get more popcorn. Now, Chloe's not very happy about this. She was right about the prank her brother, get him back for what he did to her, but all that sweet revenge may be about to be ruined by his girlfriend needing more popcorn. Now, Chloe doesn't want to get caught, She wants her prank to happen, so she quietly runs back upstairs to the kitchen and acts as if she wasn't in the basement in the first place, so maybe there's a chance she can still do her prank. And I gotta say, I love the adaptability and the commitment to the prank here. Chloe really wants to get back her brother for the Ghostface prank he pulled on her, If they go upstairs to get more popcorn, she'll be able to adapt and run up first to make it seem like she was there the whole time. Brilliant. So when Lauren finally gets upstairs to grab the popcorn, Chloe's pretending to be busy. Lauren sees Chloe in the kitchen and she asks her why she's so out of breath. Despite that question, she didn't really seem like she saw Chloe run upstairs or anything, so Lauren went back downstairs to continue watching the movie, and now that Lauren was out of sight, Chloe quietly snuck back down to the basement to get back into her hiding spot. From what she could tell, it looks like the part with the videotape had not played yet in the movie, so she could still pull off her prank. Anyways, so right before the scene that Chloe's been waiting for was about to happen, Carter complains again that this movie's so slow, which again is a complaint I don't really agree with too much. Slow movies usually build up and set up stuff early on, such as major plot points, character development, or world building, so the payoff in the climax is a lot more worth it, where you care about stuff. Not everyone likes slow-paced movies, I get it, but I'm just saying that Carter's complaint kind of sucks. Now, the scene at the videotape, where the girl's in the TV, that scene in the movie starts playing, and when it starts playing, Chloe, from her hiding spot, opens her phone and finds her brother's contact. Now, you're probably thinking at this point that she'll call him right away, but nah, she stays patient and still waits, because while the scene was playing, Carter and Lauren got quiet as it was getting pretty spooky, and apparently the movie did a great job of grabbing the audience's attention. And I like scenes like that, scenes in horror movies that aren't outright scary, but kind of creepy or spooky, or like they're building tension before the big scare. The Georgie scene in the 2017 It movie, one of my all-time favorite horror films, is a great example of that, or at least before Pennywise actually attacks him. The way Pennywise is talking to Georgie is just extremely creepy and off-putting, and it grabs your attention by the fact that something very bad is about to happen and that the big scare is coming. Think about if you were watching that scene in it right before Pennywise attacks Georgie, you think you're watching the movie all alone, all of a sudden, you feel someone grab your arm, just like Pennywise was about to do to Georgie. That's the best comparison I can give to Chloe's prank, because what she does is that as soon as the scene with the girl on the TV is over, Chloe hits call on her brother's contact. Now, the ringer happens to be off on her brother's phone, which initially may seem like the prank won't work, but nope. Chloe hears Carter and Lauren both scream, which she did it. She got her revenge on her brother, and honestly, good for her. She got her brother back for the Ghostface prank, so Chloe's really happy. She's trying to contain herself from laughing and doing a silent little victory dance. However, she realizes she forgot to turn off her caller ID, which yeah, that's a bit of a mistake. That's something I would call an oopsie. Her brother's gonna know it's her, and who knows how pissed he's gonna be. Personally, if someone did something like that to me, I think it's hilarious. I think it's pretty funny, but different people react differently. So Carter might as well have been a little bit pissed off. Now Chloe immediately runs up to her room as fast as she can and closes the door to avoid any potential backlash or anything like that. Anyways, thank you so much to the subscriber for sending this in. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to listen to another story time sort of like this, on screen right now is the story of a kid who has possibly the worst anger issues of all time.